Hi, we're going to be going over the Chapter 4 practice test. I know that we had students sharing their answers for this Chapter 4 practice test in front of the class, but just in case it would help you see it another time or hear it another time from me, I wanted to let you have this at your leisure, especially all those that are subscribed to the channel and notice and are paying attention and using the videos to help them. So I wanted to give you this gift today so that you'd be best ready for your test that's coming up on Tuesday. Okay, so reading the directions, it says solve each inequality and check your answers. Show all steps like we modeled in class, the ISN cake, and that's a reference to ISN pages 46 and 47, where you undo addition and subtraction first, and then you would undo multiplication and division, and it shows you the steps on those pages. Reminder, make sure to show all required work. So on both sides, we always do the inverse operation on both sides. We're going to quick check just to check the answers, and then we'll graph once we believe we know for sure what the variable equals or is for the inequality. The problems are each worth 5 points, so we have to show all the work to get those points. Okay, number 1. As in class, you always ask yourself for algebra, what are they doing to the variable? And number 1, it's the variable n. They are subtracting 7, so you're going to do the inverse operation of adding 7 on both sides. 21 plus 7 is 28, so you have n is less than 28. Remember, if it looks like an L, that's the symbol less than. If you were checking this using the quick check, you're going to think about the inequality sign as if it were an equal sign and just plug in the number 28. So you're looking at right here and you're going to see 28 plugged in for the n. Is 28 minus 7 equal to 21? Yes, it is. So you know that 28 is the right answer. We put it up above so you could see it for the quick check right there. And that's just what you are thinking. The quick check is the purple part where you plug it in, and that's just taking you through the thought process this one time or a couple of times so that you know what the quick check is. You always want to check your answers with all algebra work. Okay. So now we're to the graphing part, and if you're having trouble graphing, please refer to your ISN page 53. It takes you through the steps for graphing. You start off with a line with 5 smaller lines on it. You're going to put your answer in the center. 28 is in the center. 2 numbers to the left are less, and 2 numbers that are greater are to the right. It is going to be an open circle because it does not have the or equal to line, so n has got to be less than 28. It can't be exactly 28. Conversely, look at number 2. See how it has the or equal to line? We even nicknamed that a crayon. So if it's got that or equal to line, you're reminded that you're going to fill in the circle. So this is a closed circle or filled in circle versus this one is an open circle because it does not have the or equal to line. Okay, and last, n is less than 28. So the numbers that satisfy that inequality are 27 and 26. You can always test it out. You could put a 27 and a 29 over here and see which one makes it true. 27 is less than 28, so this side is the correct answer to be shaded. Another tip, students discovered that when the variable is on the left, the inequality symbol matches the arrow tip, the side that you would shade. So it's this side, this matches. You can see that again over here, how the arrow here is pointing to the right, and it matches the arrow tip shading right here. So let's look at number 2. Again, what are they doing to the variable m? Well, they are dividing it by 5. So you write the question again, and you do the opposite. You're going to multiply by 5 on both sides. 14 times 5 is 70. You bring the inequality sign straight down. This inequality is m is greater than or equal to 70. So again, you're going to be doing your quick check. Plug in the 70 up above where the m was. 70 divided by 5 is equal to 14, so you know that that does work as a substitution for m. We just pretend it's like an equal sign when we do the quick check. And now it's time to graph our inequality. M is greater than or equal to 70. Put the 70 in the middle. Color in the circle because it's got the or equal to line. And what numbers on the line would be greater than 70? That would be 71 and 72. Again, the arrow tip matches, so that's how you know that you shaded the right direction. I'm going to start going a little bit faster. Number 3, what are they doing to the variable a? They are adding 8, so the inverse is you're going to subtract 8 on both sides. 52 minus 8 is 44. 44 is greater than or equal to a. Here's another time where you're checking it. 44 plus a does equal 52. Remember that this is just the way that you think about this. This is the quick check. Let me just draw a little thinking. This is the quick check thought out. Number 4. Oh, sorry. Let's finish graphing number 3. So it's a filled in circle because it has this crayon right here. And a is not greater than 44. The hungry mouth is choosing 44. So that means a has to be worse than 44. Because look, the hungry mouth, the inequality symbol is going toward the 44. So this says 44 is greater than or equal to a. So a could be 43, could be 42. It could actually be 44. It's got the or equal to line, so you're going to fill in that circle. But it couldn't be 45 or 46. That's why that doesn't have shading on that side. Number 4. What are they doing to the variable x? They are multiplying. This is showing multiplication by negative 12. So you're going to divide by negative 12 on both sides. Now when you divide 24 by 12, you get 2. 2 negatives multiplying or dividing, the answer is going to be a positive. But something special happens here, and I told you about it in class with a story about my grandmother. And she would use the quote, "Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are." She was really protective. She wanted to make sure that we had good friends around us, good influences. And so we use that as a reminder that if you have negativity happening as the coefficient is a negative, you have to use the inverse operation of dividing by negative 12 on both sides. That is the instance where the inequality sign will flip around. We call it the twist. So it changed the inequality sign. Just like if you have negative people around you, it might change you. So she wanted to make sure we had positive people around us and good things happening. This final answer would be x is less than 2. It doesn't have the or equal to line, so it's going to be an open circle, and less than 2 would be 1 or 0. The variable is on the left, so again, this arrow tip matches. But remember, here the variable was on the right. It's on the opposite side. So you see how this arrow tip is pointing this way? This is the opposite of it, because the variable is not on the left, it's on the right. So whenever the variable's on the right, they're going to be opposites. When the variable is on the left, it's going to be matching. And that's an easy way to double check your inequalities. I like substituting in though, just to make sure that I'm right. Okay, number 5. They're multiplying by 0.8, so you're going to divide by 0.8 on both sides, and you're going to get m is greater than or equal to negative 8. When you're graphing with negatives, please be reminded that a greater negative would go to the left. And it's like owing money. This is you owe $8. This is owing $9, that's worse. This is owing $10, that's worse. Better than owing 8 would be owing 7 and owing 6. So since the hungry mouth is smart, the inequality symbol always takes the greater value. M could be negative 7 or negative 6, because owing $7 is better than owing $8. And of course we did the quick check on the top. 0.8 times negative 8 gives you 1 decimal place in the answer and a negative, and that's what you needed, a negative and 1 decimal place. Number 6. This is really where you get to have a lot of payoff when you do the circle label choose use that we did back in chapters 1 and 2. You can see that they're asking for the variable d to have subtracting 4.9 from it. So the opposite of that is to add 4.9 on both sides. But you're adding positive 4.9 to a negative 8.7. So these two signs, these two terms are different. So you're going to use the rule different, subtract bigger. So you're actually subtracting 8.7 minus 4.9, and that's going to get you 3.8. But we don't want to forget that the greater term, the absolute value that was greater, was the negative. It's like the team that had the negatives had the most players, so the negative sign comes down for the answer. Negative 3.8 is less than or equal to D. Plug it in up here. Negative 3.8 minus 4.9. Those two would be same signs because they're both negative terms. So that would be added together, and you would get negative 8.7. So you know negative 8.3 is the only right answer. That's the other part of the quick check where you put the smiley face saying, yep, I got it. I know I got it. Now it's time to graph. You can pretend that the negative 3.8 is the same as negative 38. I do that too. I just pretend it's whole numbers. Then I'm going to say negative 39 and negative 40 to the left, negative 37 and negative 36 to the right, and then we're going to go ahead and just put in our decimal points. They're kind of light, but you could see them. So it's point, 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 and you're all good. It does have the crayon, so it's a closed circle. So negative 3.8 is less than or equal to D. So this is a filled-in circle, and D must be better than owing $3.80. That's what that looks like to me. That would be owing $3.70, $3.60, yes. Next page. Number 7, they're doing 2 different steps to the variable a. They're subtracting 3 and multiplying by 4. So first we're going to add 3 on both sides, and you get 4a is less than or equal to 16. Divide both sides by 4. A is less than or equal to 4. Filled in circle, color to the left. Number 8. Let's see if I can bring that in a little bit better. Number 8, they are adding 7 and multiplying by 3/5. So first you're going to undo the adding 7 by subtracting 7 on both sides. 22 minus 7 is 15. Then to get rid of the fraction 3/5, we've done it on our hands lots of times. You put the 3 on top, you put the 5 on the bottom. That's a little bit too big for you to see. Put your 3 over your 5, and you're going to flip it and multiply on both sides. Again, you flip it and multiply on both sides. Last time you flip it and multiply on both sides. Then you can use factor bubbles. Divide the 15 and the 3 by 3, and you'll get 5 and 1. 5 times 5 is 25. So y is less than 25. Open circle, color to the left. Number 9. Ooh, we've got to use the distributive property here first. 2 times b is going to be 2b. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. That is the place that people make the most mistakes. So please pause there, double check, make sure you understand that 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Next, what are they doing to the variable b? Well, they're multiplying by 2 and they're subtracting 6, but we always undo addition and subtraction first. It's like the top layer of the cake. So we add 6 on both sides, put frosting. These are 2 different signs, so we're going to use our rule different, subtract bigger. 28 minus 6 is 22. We bring the sign of the team that has the most players, the negatives in this case, down. And now you have 2b divided by 2. Now we're dividing by 2 on both sides, and that's not going to change the sign. Even though the 22 is negative, that's like a little bit of negative in our life. Don't worry, that won't change you if you've got a little bit of negative. As long as you've got positive around you and good people and good things that you can do, you'll be fine. You will stay the same, just like this inequality sign of less than stayed the same. 22 divided by 2 is 11. 1 negative means the answer is negative 11. So b is less than negative 11. Open circle, color to the left. Remember, less than is worse. So owing 12 would fit for b because that's worse than owing 11 if you're thinking about money. Number 10. Number 10. First you're going to subtract 3 on both sides. You're going to bring down negative 9k, and negative 51 plus negative 3 is going to be same, add, keep. We're going to add those 2 terms together. They have the same negative sign. And we're going to bring down, we're going to keep that negative sign. Remember, 2 negatives added together makes a bigger negative. Then you're going to divide by a negative 9 on both sides. Yes, I said you're going to divide by a negative 9 on both sides. It's a twister. It's going to turn right around. So 54 divided by 9 is 6. That's going to be 2 negatives, makes it a positive 6. But now the inequality switches from greater than to less than, and it always keeps the or equal to line. So k is less than or equal to positive 6. Filled in circle, color to the left. Last, number 11. They're doing a couple of things. Actually, I think I'm going to pause the video here before I do number 11 because we're running out of time. So I'll stop and I'll put it in part 2 because we still have numbers 12 through 22 to do also. Thanks. See you soon.